Hello, welcome to this lesson on unemployment. Now, to be unemployed, you have to be actively looking for a job but not currently working. The labor force are people that are employed who have a job plus unemployed, actively looking for a job but not currently working. To be counted in the labor force, you must also be 16 years or older, not institutionalized, not in prison, not in the military because we're looking at civilians only, and you either want to work, which means you're looking for a job, or already be working. There's different types of unemployment. We have first frictional unemployment. This is when you're in between jobs, like you got fired and you're looking for another job, or you just graduated high school and you're looking for a job. This happens naturally in the economy. And we have structural unemployment, which is when skill sets have become obsolete. So, for example, if artificial intelligence replaces your specific field, or if robots replace your field, or maybe that field's just no longer being used, that's structural unemployment. That also happens naturally over time. So, since these two happen naturally, they should always be some of these two types of unemployment present in the economy because they happen naturally. When only frictional and structural unemployment are present, we say that the economy is at full employment output when you have only these two. The third type of unemployment, called cyclical, is caused by a bad economy, which we call recession. And this is non natural, can be prevented, and if there is cyclical unemployment, then the economy is not at full employment output. How do we calculate the unemployment rate? Well, it's going to be the number of people that are unemployed divided by the number of people in the labor force times 100. The natural rate of unemployment, or NRU, is going to be equal to the frictional unemployment rate plus the structural unemployment rate. And finally, the labor force participation rate is going to be equal to the number of people in the labor force divided by the entire civilian population. That means they're not in the military and prison because they're civilians, times 100. So here we have some practice. Frictionally unemployed, there's 10 people. Structurally unemployed, 5. You can see the rest right here. How do we know the number of people in the labor force? Well, that's the employed, which is 20, plus all of the different types of unemployed. So 5 for cyclical unemployment, 5 for structural unemployment, and 10 for frictional unemployment, which means the total number of people in the labor force is going to equal 40. Then let's calculate the labor force participation rate. That's going to be the number of people in the labor force, which is 40, divided by the civilian population, which here it's 50, times 100. That gives us 80%. So we have a labor force participation rate of 80%. Let's see the total unemployment rate in the economy right now. That's going to be the number of people that are unemployed, which includes cyclical, structural, and frictional. So 10 plus 5 plus 5, that gives us 20, divided by the labor force, which is 40, times 100. That means that currently 50% is the unemployment rate. We can also differentiate between the different types of unemployment rates. So, frictional unemployment rate is the number of people frictionally unemployed, which is 10, divided by the labor force, which is 40, times 100. So, 25% are frictionally unemployed. Structural unemployment is the number of people that are structurally unemployed, which is 5, divided by the labor force, which is 40, times 100. So 12.5% of people are structurally unemployed. If we only look at the frictional unemployment rate and the structural unemployment rate, which would be 25% plus 12.5%, we can get the natural rate of unemployment, or the NRU, which is 37.5%. So in our economy, since these two happen naturally, we should have 37.5% natural unemployment happening. Finally, cyclical unemployment, we get the number of people that are cyclically unemployed, which is 5, divided by the labor force, which is 40 times 100. So 12.5% of our population is cyclically unemployed. And because there is cyclical unemployment, That means the economy is not at full employment output. Here we're going to take a look at this with the production possibilities curve. So you can see different points on the curve. Like we said earlier, any point on the curve represents an efficient use of resources. In this case, it would be labor because we're looking at employment. This means that the economy is at full employment output. We only have structural and frictional. So if they're structural and frictional because they happen naturally, these are going to happen when the economy is being efficient. If there's a point inside the curve that shows underutilization of our resources, so basically we're not using all of our labor well, this means the economy has too much unemployment, has cyclical, extra cyclical unemployment, which means they're cyclical plus structural plus frictional, too much. So we're underutilizing our labor. Finally, we have a point over here, all the way outside over there. That means that this point is going to be impossible to sustain at natural levels because this curve is already our natural level. We cannot do anything beyond that. So that means there's too little unemployment. It's not natural. And that's going to cause something else. Is going to cause inflation. That's all for this lesson. See you next time.